What an awful week. What troubled waters. I talked to my best friend in New York. Her cousin brought his 2 young teenage boys to meet her and her father and mother who were in Budapest. The cousin bringing his sons there so her dad, 92, could walk them through his childhood neighborhood and see where he grew up, but also he pointed out, this is where the worst thing in my life happened. Telling the story of the bomb that struck their house during wartime, killing most of the household, himself crushed under a chandelier. The boys would return to their home in Israel and 2 days later find themselves hunkering in a bunker, being shelled with the worst chapters of human history returning. A colleague in this city, Muslim, who I'd served with on the Interfaith Council, a leader who I'm calling a friend too, responded to my outreach of support just this morning saying 30 members of her extended family have been killed in Gaza in what can only be described as indiscriminate violence and an attempt at genocide. And a local Homeland Security official shares last night with houses of worship the intelligence of Al-Qaeda putting out a call for all able-bodied people to come to fight. So many bent on vengeance, so much excruciating loss. And I feel like people pulling us to take sides, which to me feels so wrong right now. To witness, I feel called, I think many of us do, to the violence of Hamas that was unspeakable, and to witness to what's happened and will happen to other Gaza Arabs, many of whom want nothing to do with Hamas, as horrific and unspeakable, and what will happen in the region and the world as tragic as we watch it unfold, and back through time, so many unspeakable acts and so much evil history, some of which has American thumbprints all over it. And the sadness of a slow peace that was evolving raised like the neighborhoods we see pictures of, and life that now has ripples of loss and fear and hate that will carry on for generations. Someone someday walking young teenage boys through a neighborhood and saying, that is where the worst day of my life happened. We hold in this space, in this community, always this world so full, always of heartbreak and brokenness, and also stunningly alive with beauty and grace. And as people of faith, we are never in denial of either, right? But we live in between and holding the two of them, inviting one another to witness to it all and then to find a way to participate and step into the future that we shape. And some mornings, the tip of the balance feels more on one side of that dichotomy or the other. So this morning, we ring our gong in that ritual way of holding this together. We will ring our gong once this morning for the 1,400 in Israel that have been killed and the 3,500 wounded, for the 2,300 people that have been killed in Gaza and the 9,000 injured, for the 126 hostages being held in Gaza, some of them Americans, but for all of them. For those in Gaza who are suffering from inadequate water and food and medical care, and the refugees who are fleeing, whose numbers swell by the hour, for all who are afraid and at risk, and whose hearts are filled with hate or struggling to find a call to mercy, and for the hearts that will be scarred by the loss of loved ones. in this violence that is tragic. And we ring our gong a second time this morning, lest we forget, for the people of Ukraine and people in wars everywhere and those around the world and very close at home who are caught in warlike struggles against poverty and racism and homophobia and displacement and suffering caused by climate change. And for all the hurts we ourselves are suffering from or have inflicted, and the pain and the moral struggle that it all presses upon us. And we ring our gong a last time in gratitude for all the people everywhere who lean into healing, who tirelessly in their own hearts and in the world work to offer and broker forgiveness, for those who fight to give mercy when vengeance is justified, and for all of us, wherever we have to work to see our neighbor in another because of what stands between us in history and hurt, for peace and its handmaidens and stewards, its angels in human form, all those musicians of the human heart who somehow turn horror into a way forward with hope. For all who reconstitute this world. May we keep all those we have named, all that we have named this morning in our thoughts and in our prayers. And may we each serve life with courageous love and ease the tide of human suffering this coming week, howsoever we can. Amen.